And we are going to have the next presentation by our Japanese colleague, Kenji Suzuki. He is Director International Cooperation Section of the Urban and Global Environmental Division, Bureau of Environment, Tokyo Metropolitan Area. So he's from Tokyo. And he will talk about the Matching Incentive Fund, also a mechanism that was implemented by the city of Tokyo, which is very interesting. Please, Kenji.
Thank you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to presentation. Today, I would like to introduce Tokyo's Cap and Trade program and its effect on buildings and company behavior in Tokyo. In April this year, the Tokyo Metropolitan Government launched the first cap and trade program in Japan. Our program is the world's third mandatory reduction system targeting industrial sectors following EU ETS and RGGI in the United States. We decided to introduce a cap and trade program based on our experiences with our prior program. In 2002, we introduced a program requiring large facilities to report and publicize CO2 emission to promote voluntary emission reduction. However, in operating this prior program, it became clear that most companies would only invest capital that can be covered within a few years. The reduction targets were just 2% on average. So we ran that without mandatory reductions, investment in energy saving would stay in low level. Based on this experience, in June 2007, we announced our plan to introduce a cap and trade program. Over the year following the announcement, we held meetings with 14 stakeholders, including the Japan Business Federation and other business groups. Initially, many business groups were strongly opposed to the plan, and the stakeholder meeting featured very lively debate. But after a large-scale open table discussion and many small meetings and negotiations, we gained their understandings one by one. And finally, the Tokyo Chambers of Commerce and Industry, which represents business interests in Tokyo, issued a statement of support. And in June 2008, the Tokyo Metropolitan Assembly unanimously decided to introduce Japan's first cap and trade program. Now, let me provide an outline of the Tokyo Cap and Trade program. One unique feature of this program is its coverage. This program covers not only large factories, but also office buildings, commercial facilities, and public buildings. This is based on our firm belief that sweeping CO2 reduction requires targeting not only major factories and power plants, but also demand-side facilities consuming electricity and gas. In this sense, Tokyo Cap and Trade program is the world's first urban cap and trade program, I think, tailored to a city that consumes large amounts of energy. Targeted facilities are those which consume the energy equivalent of 1,500 kiloliters or more of crude oil as electricity or gas per year. They are approximately 1,300, and their emission accounts for 40% of all CO2 emission from the commercial and the industrial sector in Tokyo. Of these 1,300 facilities, 1,100 are offices or commercial facilities, and the remaining 200 are factories. Almost all of the high-rise buildings in central Tokyo are covered by this program. For a cap and trade program to be worthwhile, it must include a strict cap. We set 5-year compliance periods for our caps, and for the first periods from 2010 to 2014, we set the cap at 6% reduction below base year emission. The cap for the second period from 2015 to 2019 has not yet been finalized, but we have announced that it will be around 70%. We made this announcement in response to calls from companies wanting early notice of mid-range reduction goals in order to justify long-term investment in energy efficiency. Based on the caps I described, emission allowance to the targeted facilities are allocated based upon historical emissions. Because we have operated the mandatory reporting system since 2002, we already have records of individual facilities' past emissions. These data enable us to allocate allowance fairly. Each facility must bring its total emissions for the 5-year period within the allowance through its own reductions or emission tradings. Any company that fails to carry out its reduction obligations will be publicly named and subject to penalty and surcharges. Now let me outline some examples of how this program is already influencing urban development and the actions of companies. First, in the urban development fields, we are starting to see bold and unprecedented investment in energy efficiency. Japan's leading developers are now competing to start constructing office buildings with highly advanced energy performance. For example, construction company Shimizu Corporation is now building its headquarter building, which is designed to reduce energy consumption by 50% compared to conventional buildings by introducing advanced technology, including a daylight system and radiant air conditioning. Second, existing buildings are also being renovated. Here, Mitsui Sumitomo Marine and Fire Insurance is carrying out a retrofit project, including a district heating system in the aim of creating the lowest emission building in Tokyo. And Mitsubishi Estate, which owns many buildings around Tokyo Station, has also taken innovative steps. These are just a few examples of the change in Tokyo. Many companies in the field of energy conservation business, finance, information technology, and else are energetically pursuing new business opportunity by helping facilities subject to the cap. So my key message today is that setting bold CO2 reduction targets and introducing powerful measures create vast private sector investment in energy efficiency technology and renewable energy, enabling the creation of a low-carbon city. Cap and Trade program is not anymore a policy program of national governments. Urban Cap and Trade program covering the building sector can be or should be taken in cities, and the role of the city government is crucial. I believe that by swiftly taking steps to reduce emissions and switch corporate activities and buildings to a lower carbon model, we can create new business model and contribute to the long-term growth of the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Very interesting. So how many of the potential building owners of buildings are actually participating in this project? I mean, is everybody participating by doing something in his building, or are there also some that just cap and trade and buy the credits in order to get rid of the debt that they have?
Well, actually, as I said, 1,300 building owners are participating in this program, and now they are addressing the measures to reduce the CO2 emissions.
So there's not one of the 1,300 that chooses to just pay off that debt?
Not yet. We don't see any negative response from the owners.
Fantastic. So that means you really achieve reductions by this cap. Because some people think that cap and trade is something that's greenwashing, you know, so you would contest that. You think that it's effective?
Yeah, we believe that it will be effective to reduce the CO2.
Okay.
Yes,
maybe we will hear some voices from the audience afterwards.
Yes, maybe.
Thank you very much for that nice presentation. Please take a seat. I would advise you to sit here so you can be supported by your translator.
Yeah.